Now, an Air India flight from Delhi to San Francisco had to make an emergency landing in Magadan in Russia due to a technical snag. Now, passengers are left in distress as they are accommodated in a local school where they are being forced to sleep on the floor in a single common room. Meanwhile, Aviation Minister has released a statement saying that he is closely monitoring the situation on ground and is in contact with the airline. The Air India has released a statement acknowledging the situation, explaining that they are working to secure proper accommodation for the affected passengers. However, the airline cited limitations due to Magadan being a remote village. I beg your pardon, a remote airport, but also that a ferry flight has been scheduled for the passengers to San Francisco. My colleague Madhav is joining me on the phone line to get us more details. Well, Madhav, take us through what are the preparations being made on ground by the Indian authorities, because the passengers who are stranded there in Russia, they definitely maintain that they are in distress. They've been left in the lurch. Even the crew isn't available at the site. What do we know about the government's outreach to help them in this situation?
Well, at 1 o'clock this afternoon, we understand, and the Civil Aviation Minister in a briefing just a short while earlier has very clearly stated that a ferry flight has left for Magadan, where it will be picking up passengers and then taking them onward to their destination. But the fact is that these passengers have been putting out on social media several posts, several tweets with videos even about the difficulties that they've had to face and how several of them, in fact, even senior citizens, are finding it very difficult to sort of survive in that kind of open hall where they've all been accommodated. Of course, Air India has said that due to limitations of the town in which they had to land and the airport in which they had to land, they haven't been able to arrange hotel accommodation for all of these passengers, and that certainly has proved to be a challenge for all of the passengers there themselves. The fact is that even though this ferry flight may have taken off at 1 o'clock today, perhaps this could have been arranged earlier by the airline, and the fact is that these passengers would have had to spend more than 24 hours at this particular location. Could that pain and the suffering of the passengers have been reduced to some extent by the airline had they acted on time? These are questions certainly the airline has to answer. But at this point of time, what we do know is that there is a ferry flight on way to, in fact, pick up all of these passengers and take them onward to their destination.
Well, thank you, Madhav, for getting us all those details. We shall leave it at that for the moment, as we're also being joined by one of the stranded passengers, Dr. Neha Goel Tripathi, who is joining me from Russia. Dr. Tripathi, thank you for taking our time and joining us here. Please tell us what is the situation on the ground. I beg your pardon, we're also joined by Deepak Balani, who is another stranded passenger. Tell us what exactly is the situation on the ground, Dr. Tripathi, because the government maintains that they are in touch with you all, that the authorities are trying to ensure that all possible, amenities are provided to you all.
The 15-hour has become a 40-hour nightmare for us. I do acknowledge that there was a technical disaster and the pilot did manage us, to get us safely down. But after that, it has been, in the beginning, we were very, very optimistic. We thought that it is a matter of few hours that we would be, evacuated from here. It's been already 24 hours. We have been here, Initially, we were sitting in the plane for 5 to 6 hours, then in the bus, and then finally we were brought here. And in terms of, accommodation and facilities, we have with us a lot of elderly people who are suffering, different medical ailments. And Air India is one airline you would not expect, there is no communication. What is the trauma is it's becoming a traumatic experience now, because there is no update, there is no intimation. I mean, for example, if a flight has taken off and it's just going to take 8 hours for them to reach here, there is no intimation that if there is any boarding or what is happening. We just have some half truth from here and there, and most of it is all are conjecturing. So it's in a very pathetic situation here with communication. It was not expected out of Air India.
Dr. Tripathi, are you trying to say that there is no communication with the Air India crew as well? The crew that was on board with you all and reached Russia in that situation?
Yeah, there is no communication with the crew. We have no idea where the crew is. There is nobody around us. All of us are in different rooms. One room comes to know one thing. We communicate it to others when we, meet outwards. There is no management and there is no crew, and we have no idea where the crew is.
Okay, Dr. Tripathi, stay with us as I go across to the other passengers also joining us right now, Mr. Deepak Balani. Mr. Balani, thank you for taking your time and joining us again over here at Mirror Now, because we are consistently following the story very closely. Mr. Balani, if you can detail us what has been your experience thus far, because like Dr. Tripathi was also mentioning, that there are elderly citizens as well, and clearly nobody was prepared for this sort of a 40-hour haul, that there is no access to clothing or medication for that matter. Are these basics being provided?
Absolutely not. In fact, after the flight landed yesterday, we were put in bus for a couple of hours before we were made to stay in the school. The Russian authorities were good enough to arrange the mattresses and everything, but there's absolutely no sight of crew. There were 16 crew members. We don't even know where are they. Have they gone and checked into a hotel and they've just pushed into us into school dormitories? We don't know anything about it. Only there are no medicines. As Dr. Neha just mentioned, there are no medicines, there are no clothing because our checked-in bags are still in the flight and we just have our hand baggages. Nobody was prepared for this kind of a situation. But there's absolutely no help, no communication from Air India. So my few questions to Air India, if you could also get them online, I don't know if they would be willing to come. One is that why would they be flying 30-year-old aircraft on this long route? They should have used a shorter route for these flights. They could have put a brand new aircraft or a reliable aircraft on this route. They know that this is a 15-hour flight. Then there was no communication what is going to happen. After they announced that they will have an emergency landing, they were dumping the fuel. It took 2 hours for them to land in this airport. After that, there is absolutely no sight. There is no facility. We are basically dependent on the school authorities. The Rotary Club people have been very nice. They're providing us food. They're providing us basic amenities. Then the Red Cross Society also came in. They provided some medicines to the elderly. But where is Air India? Where are the authorities? Where is the Indian embassy officials? They were supposed to be taking care of their citizens while stranded in a foreign country. Now, these are the
Mr.
questions which
Balani,
they
have
need
you
to
been able to
understand or they need
establish
to
any
accept.
contact with the embassy? Has the embassy been able to reach out to any of the passengers so far, Mr. Balani?
Not that we know of. I don't think they have been able to reach us directly to anybody because I have not heard this from anyone. As I said, that there are too many people here. They are getting communications unofficially from their own sources, but there is no official communication either from the Indian embassy or from Air India so that everyone has the clarity. So we are completely in dark. We don't even know whether the rescue flight has taken off from Bombay, what time it is going to land, because every time we hear there is a time and then suddenly we hear, okay, it has not happened because the clearances have not come. Why have they taken 24 hours? Why not the clearances were taken initially? Why they didn't take all the permissions from the authorities, Russian authorities, US authorities? I think they should have been more proactive to avoid such a inconvenience to the passengers.
But both Dr. Tripathi and Mr. Balani, I want to tell you is that the aviation minister was put this question by the journalists over here, and he maintained that a ferry flight has been scheduled for the passengers to San Francisco. Do you have any intimation about it, Dr. Tripathi?
No, I have no email or nothing, anything about the flight which has been scheduled. I've been hearing about it that it was supposed to be taken off at 1 o'clock, but I have no official intimation. We don't know whether it's taken off or not. We are just, and that's why things are becoming, everybody is becoming very anxious. Even not only just the elderlies, but everybody else also has no clue of what's going on.
Dr. Tripathi, the pictures that we are playing out of how the passengers are being left in the lurch over there, they've made to sleep on the floor. If you could tell us the situation on ground over there,
Yeah.
because clearly the elderly passengers over there have been left at the mercy of the Russian authorities to look after them.
Absolutely. I mean, I can show you a video of the state we all are in right now. You can see my luggage, and I mean, if I move my camera around, you can just see all of us are living. We were joking among us that we become refugees, and this is what they feel like. That I mean, in terms of, I mean, it's not to demean anybody, it's not to put down anybody. We are very grateful for whatever little we are getting. I mean, we are thankful for that, because even to get food, I do understand it's not easy, I mean, to arrange, but at the same time it can be definitely done in a more efficient and a more effective manner, and there is no initiative from Air India on this aspect at all.
But has there been anybody who has been in touch with you, who has been able to reach out to you all and hear to what you all need, your requirements being fulfilled? Who are the people on ground available right now who you can reach out to?
So, as such, there is no designated person whom we can reach out to. We when we go to the entrance, because language is a barrier, and but we keep asking, we keep So what I know of, there has been Rotary Club, people who did come and distributed something, and then there has been Red Cross, because as the elderlies were not carrying their medicines, they wrote down the name of the medications they need, and so there has been some support from them, but it is not in an organized manner, it is in a very ad hoc manner. But yes, these organizations have been here, but it's like you go out, you find out some information, and you act accordingly.
Mr. Balani, is there any clarity by when can you be able to board that particular flight that has been sent to ferry you all to San Francisco? Mr. Balani, I was asking you that question. If there is any information that you have about by when can everybody expect to be ferried to San Francisco from Russia?
No, I don't think. We don't have any official communication. We have been told that we just heard from you that the flight has taken off from Mumbai, I believe, but there is no official clarity still, because everyone is asking each other whether the flight has taken off, because in past also, since morning it has been happening that we have been told that the flight is going to take off, but we will only believe after the flight lands and takes off from here to San Francisco. So let's all hope for the best, and let's see how the authorities now can act very fast, and Air India also can support and take us out, and we should be able to reach our destinations very quickly.
Dr. Tripathi, my last questions to you essentially is that there are women, there are children, there are elderly, all of them who've been packed up inside that one particular school. There is not much that you can actually avail as far as amenities and services are concerned. But was there any assurances that you had either a word from the pilot himself?
Not since we landed. We are not
touching down. Said that the engine has some issue and they are going to dump the fuel so that they can land. But the communication was very vague and very difficult to understand. I don't think they also had a clarity. The crew had absolutely no clue on what's happening, because they said कि हम तो आपकी तरह ही हैं, जितना आपको पता है उतना हमको पता है. That is what they had said. So the passengers were completely in dark. We didn't even imagine that this is going to happen, because we were said that we will land and we will just get the engines repaired or checked by the engineers in Magadan, and then we will leave for San Francisco. So no, we were not informed, and no one was prepared for such an ordeal.
And just to add to it, I think whatever support, little
Well, Dr.
support we have
Tripathi,
got
that is what Mr. Balani was saying, that the crew
I
maintain
was
that they
saying,
have as much information as the passengers have got, and that is hardly a respite or anything of importance to have that piece of information. But do you think there was any word
yeah.
of assurance that was given to you by the pilot speaking to the passengers?
See, the thing is, I think it was an unexpected landing for all of us, and so in the beginning, it was okay that things were a little sketchy for everyone who was involved because this was not really a planned kind of an event. So to a certain point, it was understandable, but beyond that, there has been no communication and no update and no clarity.
Well, thank you, Dr. Tripathi and Mr. Balani, for taking our time and joining us here. We can only hope that we are carrying all the information out over here at Mirror Now, and the authorities that be at the center, and also if the Aviation Ministry, along with the Air India, are watching these voices of yours, and they could probably reach out to you with the earliest possible help that is available in Magadan, in Russia, and you can be en route San Francisco.